Hey friend, are you over 40 and struggling with knowing your own body? Lots of changes. Where did this extra weight come from? How do I handle this? And where did my energy just go? Hot flashes, not able to sleep, so many new and old difficulties all coming up at once. If this sounds like something you're struggling with, hang on, because I have some things that I want to talk to you about. If you're new here, I'm Rita Johnson. I'm the owner of Divine Mercy Nutritional Care, and I help women to take their health back into their own hands through dietary, lifestyle, mindset changes, and at-home lab testing. I work with a lot of women that are struggling in this perimenopause, menopause time. So if you're not familiar with these terms, perimenopause is the 10 years leading up to menopause. We typically see it start anytime in the late 30s, definitely by 40, we would say that you're in this perimenopause time. And then menopause is when you've gone a complete year without a menstrual cycle. So often we get these kind of confused, these different terms, and that's why I like to start by defining them. Menopause is often what we say when we're talking about perimenopause, when we're talking about hormonal shifts, hot swings, night sweats, all of these things that are often very undesirable. But the reality is that that's typically correlating with perimenopause. So there's several things going on in this time. Our cycles start to change, and this is normal. Part of the reason that they're changing is because our progesterone levels are starting to plummet, and we're still making estrogen oftentimes just as much as we were before. But it's also a time that if things have kind of gone unchecked up until now, that it's going to start to cause more issues further down the road. So for example, if you're reaching perimenopause and you have been under a high amount of stress, not sleeping well, not fueling your body well, and then you get into perimenopause time, what's going to happen is you're going to have a really difficult time navigating this. You're going to feel really low. You're going to experience these night sweats, the fatigue, the not sleeping with an even new vigor than if you had been able to support your adrenals and support your health up until this point. So what can we do? Obviously, we can't turn back time and have done things differently, but there is a lot that we can do to support our adrenals and really help support optimizing our health and detoxification so that we can navigate these years with greater grace. So definitely, very first thing I would say is right now, do what you can to support your body. If you're already eating a whole foods, nutrient-dense diet, amazing. Keep it up, girlfriend. If you're not, just take some stair steps into that. How can I limit sugar? How can I limit processed food consumption? How can I really take some steps forward to doing these things? The second thing I would say is we need to support your adrenals. Your adrenals are critical in this time because as your ovaries stop making progesterone and eventually stop making estrogen, your adrenals are picking up that slack. And so your estrogen and progesterone will be made by your adrenals. So we need to first look at what stresses our adrenals out. The first few things that come up to my mind are not sleeping, drinking lots of caffeine, and alcohol. So we really need to do what we can to support these first three things. If you're already doing that, great. Let's take another step to supporting our adrenals. Let's look at what kind of salt you're using in your kitchen. Adrenals are very sensitive to our electrolyte balance. So if you're using a salt that's not refined, like a Celtic sea salt or real salt, that's also going to support your adrenal levels. There's a lot more to it than just that, but I would say start here and let's dive deeper from there. Also, look at your stress levels, friend. Stress is obviously different at this time as well, right? For some of us, we have teenagers that are busy and taking us out of the house and disrupting our normal flow to the day. For other women, they might be going back to work, perhaps for the first time after being home for years, raising a family. So really be intentional about what is your capacity for stress and what are some things that you're carrying that you don't have to carry. I do have a series on stress, so check that out. The description is in link to this video. These are just some really small first steps that you can take to support your body through this perimenopausal time. Obviously, there's some very unique challenges. There's a lot more that we can dive into to supporting your body for overall lasting health. The final thing I'm going to leave you with is if you currently do not lift weights, I highly recommend you start some type of weight routine. Start small, especially if you're not working out at all. It can be just using water bottles, but starting to work on your muscle mass is going to go a long way to supporting your bone health and allowing for the body to burn that extra weight that it's storing for later. Especially if it's around the midsection, that's where I'm thinking that we really need to support your adrenals. signals. So many additional things that we can think and talk about, but for now, let's start here, and I'll have more videos coming soon talking more about perimenopause. If you feel really overwhelmed by thinking about perimenopause, schedule a free discovery call with me. I would love to talk to you about how we can support your body through this time that can oftentimes feel very frustrating. And you don't have to do this alone.